Welcome back all. Today I will talk about return values. So, when writing a script, it is important to know if the script executed successfully or not. Why is this important? Well, aside from the obvious reasons, sometimes you will run a script and you will not know whether it executed properly or not unless you are familiar with return values. One of the most confusing things for beginners in Linux tends to be the return value or the return value of 0. So when you run a command and nothing happens, that is usually a good thing in Linux when there's no feedback. I know, right? Strange. Here, let me just give you a small example. You will need to switch your user to root. Just type in su, press enter, and then type in the password. I already have a terminal opened here, so I just decided to drag it from another screen. And if I, for example, use this command to basically set the status of a certain service, so if I type in system ctl status, or let's just type in restart httpd dot service. What? Nothing happened. I just issued a command to restart my web server and I didn't get any output. Like, what is wrong with this? What is missing with this picture? What is missing in this picture? Well, nothing. Everything went fine. Everything is perfect. That is the return value of 0. If you run it, if nothing happens down below, fantastic, the command ran. I will demonstrate this further. But for example, if you something, you see, if I attempt to restart a non-existent service, it says fail to restart something.service, unit something.service failed to load no such file or directory. It's going to issue out an error message, and this is also a return value. So in Bash, we have we will revisit this, so do not worry. I just want to give you a quick demo of what it means to return a 0. And why is that a good thing, and why anything but 0 is generally a bad thing, and the fact that it's a little bit difficult to get used to zero feedback from the system. Like, for example, when I restart my web server, the return value is 0, everything went fine, but if I didn't know that, I would have no way. I would have a way of knowing it, of course, but just by looking at the screen, I wouldn't know really, did my command ran or not, what happened, etc. So anyway, in Bash, we have an exit command that is in charge of terminating script execution and giving us the status of the script execution. So the status is available to the script's parent's process. For example, this terminal, if I run a script from it, this is the exit status will be available in this terminal, just like to the systemctl. Just like when I ran systemctl, the exit status was printed out here on the terminal. This is also another exit status. It's an error. It failed to load. And just keep in mind that even if the script doesn't have exit command, exit status is returned, and in that case, it holds the status of the last executed command in the script. Very important to keep in mind. The exit command, I will demonstrate it, of course, but let me just give you a little bit of dry talk and then we'll go immediately into examples. Exit command can be done, can be with and without parameters, but usually, the parameter that is given to the exit command is $? So this $? What is this? Well, $? holds the exit status of the last command that was executed in a function, which is equivalent to the return values in other programming languages. I'm guessing that you're not coming from some sort of a heavy programming background, so you're not that familiar with this, but the case is pretty much similar across the board in pretty much all the programming languages out there. Functions, which we will deal with later on, they all have some sort of return values unless it's a void function, which doesn't have a return value, etc. So the return value can be a lot of things. It can be a string, it can be an integer, it can be a single character, it can be I don't know, just as many variables as there are. Pretty much that is how many types of return values you can have. Anyway, let's go ahead and take a look at the example and see what this actually means. Let's just open up, oops, I'm not gonna do it in the root terminal, no need to do that. By the way, these scripts that we are writing, unless I designate it so, please don't run them as root. There is no need for it. I'm guessing that you won't do it, but even if you do it, in general, you won't really cause that much harm anyway. But just stick to the safe side and use it as a regular user, and you should be fine either way, but it's much better to run it as a regular user. Anyway, so let's go ahead and type in vim first.sh, and as you can see, I am a regular user. It says chronic at my domain. My domain is the host name of this machine. So let's go ahead and type in echo and type in tralalala. Excellent. Down below, we shall type in echo again, $? So what do you think that this is going to output? Just think about it. Why did I quit? I have no idea. It says tra-la-la-la, everything went fine, and then the return is 0. That's good, no problems. But if I go ahead and type something in, just smash my keyboard like this, well, just smash my keyboard in terms of letters, because I don't feel like doing this 100 times. If I run it, what do we have here? It says /first.sh line 5 trala something command not found. Exit code 127. Now, since this is not a command, and since exit status is not 0, but some other integer value indicating that the last command was not successful for whatever reason, 127 is the value of the exit status. It can be traced to a particular error, as pretty much all the error codes are listed, are well documented, and you can find them without much problems either on the net. You basically type in bash error code 127 or bash error code, etc., and you should be able to find it without any problems. But here you can really see what it says. I mean, it's literally telling you what the problem is, so you don't have to actually go and look for the error code or anything like that. You can also find them in Linux as well. It says that the command was not found. It doesn't recognize this particular command. And this is why $? Is very useful when it comes to testing commands in a script for whatever reasons. I mean, if you run a command and you wish to know whether it works or not, well, you just put $? Below it and run the program once. Have a look. If it throws out an error code, you'll be able to figure out based on that error code what the problem is, because you will also get a message as well. So you don't have to be that concerned about it. But it's very nice that you can actually print yourself an error code, and then when you go onto the forums or something like that, hey, you can say, I got this error code, this is the problem, could you help me out? Here's my script and here's my error code, and I get the error code on this line for this command. And obviously then people will be far more forthcoming, as opposed to you just pasting a script somewhere on the forum and stating, hey, I have a problem here, it doesn't work. The next post below you will be, can you give us something more? Can you explain something more? Usually what people will ask immediately, what sort of an error did you get? What was the problem? But when you put it like this, somebody was able to help you out immediately, as opposed to somebody posting and then you posting after them, and then they posting back again, asking you more questions, etc. Anyway, let's go ahead and continue with our script. So let's define a couple of variables. Let's first delete this and type in no, so number of, sure, why not? Number of args equals 2. And this will be the number of arguments needed. The next thing that we want to do is define our exit status. So if incorrect number of arguments is passed, we should have this. So E underline, how shall we name this? I don't know, bad args. Bad args, I guess, is fine. 85, and E underline. So this will be, for example, we shall have this error code if we are unable to read we shall have this exit status if the program is actually unable to read a certain file. Let's put it like that. So I'm a wonderful speller. Unreadable. Thank you very much. So 86. And let's go ahead and start typing. So if, make sure to place a space here, bracket, and we shall have a $ hash dash any space quotation marks, and then we shall reference a variable args. Excellent. So let's just go ahead and type in then. Fantastic. So what this means in this, what this condition represents, it basically states if the number of command line arguments is not equal. So the number of command line arguments, I'm selecting it. So this has that meaning. The symbol $ hash. If the number of command line arguments is not equal, so NE, not equal, and then we're referencing this variable, so we get the value is not equal to the number of args that we have specified, we want something to happen. So let's go ahead and jump into that. Then echo, and we shall type in usage, and we need, oops, yep, there we go, reverse quote marks, base name, space $0, reverse quote marks, I don't know, let's type in test file 1, test file 2. And let's type in the exit. I'll explain in a moment. Let me just type it in. It's a little bit easier like that since it's a bit more complex script. It's not really complex, but bad args. I don't want to really miss anything here. Bad args, and we're gonna finish it. We shall finish the if statement. Anyway, so now that we have defined the condition, the base name will basically print out $0. What is a $0? Here, do you remember from the previous lessons? It is the name of the script. It is the name of this script that we are writing now. This is used for usage messages. If the script was called, but not all required arguments were passed to the script. So we would like the exit status. The exit status will be 85 as we have defined it. So we have 85 here. It says bad args, and the exit status will print that out if this condition is not satisfied. So if we don't pass exactly 2 arguments, then we're going to have a problem on our hands. That way you can actually make it mandatory for users to pass a certain amount of arguments or a certain range of arguments to a script, which is also a common practice with Linux commands. Some of the commands, when you run them, they have mandatory positions. They have mandatory arguments which you need to specify. And if you don't specify them, it throws you an error message and it opens up a help menu which gives you a syntax and a list of arguments which you can pass in order to help you out. So now that we have finished this loop, we are going to continue on writing this beautiful script of ours, which is going to go on for a bit longer, and then we're going to run it, and we shall see. As I said, the scripts will progressively get more and more complex, and we will get to the point of time where we will have a pretty big script, so I might just open it up for you and not type it in like this, not to waste time. Anyway, let's go ahead and type in if, bracket, bracket, exclamation mark, dash r, quotation marks, $1, close quotation marks, or exclamation mark, r, $2, and let's go ahead and close this. Then, okay, should be fine if I didn't mess anything up here. Okay, it should be fine. Anyway, dash r will return true if the file exits and it is readable. So dash r will return true if the file exits and is readable. The exclamation mark is logical not, as I have explained before. It reverses the test result. So if either of these files does not exist or is not readable, we will define the exit status down below, which will be 86 as we have defined it up here. But the coloration seems to be a little bit off here, and I'm thinking of what it is that I wrote wrong here, but I can't really see anything. It's probably something stupid that I have overlooked while typing. But oh well, let's have a look and let's troubleshoot it in a moment. So if we type in then, we shall type in echo files are real. Let's put it like that. I was thinking of writing files are in existence or they are readable or something meaningful like that, but let's go ahead and type in files are real. Exit, and let's go ahead and reference our exit and reference e underline unreadable. There we go. So with that, we can finish our loop. Now let's go ahead and run this and see what happens. Are we going to get any error messages? Is it going to be fine? And of course, we have a problem. So line 17, what is EOF? What does that mean? It means end of file. Very important marcation, which we will be utilizing at later points of time. And then we have an unexpected end of file. So there is a problem somewhere within this script, but I would solve it now, but I'm literally at 19 minutes and 30 seconds. So I'm running out of time. The videos need to be 20 minutes each, and we'll get into troubleshooting in the follow-up tutorial. I do believe that the troubleshooting part is actually useful for you, and that is why I always leave it in the videos.